Hey everybody, big shout out from Shamek all the way from Canada. And as you could tell, pretty cold out here, isn't it? There you can see me a bit better. I'm nicely wrapped up in my head cover out here, and as you can see, yeah, pretty cold out here today. So here we are walking in minus 21-degree weather. What I wanted to share with you is basically to show you how do we go about handling, any temperature that's below maybe minus 15 or even more, or even below, less than even minus 20, right? So that's what we will be looking at in this particular video, is how do we handle temperatures in Canada, and then do we just stay at home all day? A little bit of sunlight over there. There we go. Nice and bright. So yeah, I want to sort of share with you what do we do when we have this kind of weather. How do we go about taking care of errands? Do we just stay at home all day? No, we do have stuff to do. We do have to go out. A lot of times we will not be walking, we'll be driving, but every now and then getting to the car or stepping outside does require, does get you exposed to this kind of weather. So I just want to share with you what are some things that we can do to protect ourselves when we are venturing out in minus 15 or minus 20-degree weather out here. As you can see from the temperature posting that I have here, the temperature over here today is minus 21. Okay, and I'm just having a nice walk here as well, but of course with the right equipment. So if you do not have the right equipment, it is probably not a good idea to venture out. Now with this kind of equipment, I can walk here pretty much all day if the temperature stays around this. If it doesn't vary as much, if it stays pretty much the same way as it is, I could actually walk around for quite a bit. I'm quite warm in this jacket out here, and this is a goose feather jacket, down feather jacket, and I'm going to talk to you more about that, explain to you what a goose feather jacket is and why is it so necessary to have here in Canada. So let's go ahead and look at each piece of clothing that is necessary to address each piece of clothing that you need to have, so that you can sort of get out and even have a little bit of exercise, even in this kind of freezing weather out here in Ontario, Canada. And what we will do is we will observe and look at what are some of the things that you need to keep in mind while you're using these different pieces of equipment. So for example, what kind of gloves would help you in making sure that you're able to use your mobile phone, for example? Or do you have a jacket that has an inner pocket where you can put your mobile so that your mobile battery does not run out quickly? As you know, cold weather impacts your mobile battery. That's another thing that I want everyone to remember, that when you're filming outside, you need to make sure that you have a cover for your phone so that it doesn't lose battery power as quickly as as quickly as it does. And we will also talk about the most important things like your face. How do you cover your face? Do you need to wear balaclava, which is something that you can use as well to cover most parts of your face and let your eyes be visible? And how would you go about making sure that first of all your head is covered? So I'm not wearing a head cover. What I'm just wearing is this flap right here. So we will also look at different type of I forgot what they call them. They call them toques. You can wear toques, and what they do is they actually cover up your head and make sure that you don't get as cold on your head as well. So we will look at those specific things as well. And in addition to that, you can also think about what type of socks you should be wearing. What, you know, it's often an interesting discussion. There's a lot of attention to details that you need to consider when you're even wearing socks. I mean, are those socks going to absorb moisture? Are they, you know, what we call thermal socks, which will make sure that you can stay in them for a long time. You can wear them for a long time and not get your feet wet, or not get your feet enough, not make sure that you get enough moisture on your feet, so that you remain comfortable and it's not as cold as well. So thermal wear, inner linings, head covers, toques, gloves, all these things need to be taken into account when you are preparing to go out in such extreme freezing temperatures in Ontario, Canada. Now remember, once you have prepared yourself with all these, and once you have you know, made sure that you are covered up and decked up as you should be, then it's just a matter of you know, going about your day like I'm doing right now. And yeah, there we go. A little bit of sun right here. Yeah. And there we go. Just a little bit of sun out here, and I'm able to do what I do in my trusty jacket out here. So I'm going to go inside right now and show you those different pieces of gear and clothing wear that you need to consider while you are, you know, while you are going out in freezing temperatures. So let's go back inside of my warm apartment, and then we will look at all those pieces of equipment as well. Alrighty, so the very first piece of winter gear that you need to make sure you have with you at all times is a good winter jacket. Now, there's a lot of different choices that people have with winter jackets in Canada, okay? So there's a lot of different manufacturers, there's a lot of different vendors. Now, some people would like to prefer a jacket that reaches them till their thighs. Some people would like to have a jacket that reaches them even further down till their knees. It all depends on individual preferences. So I want you to consider what you're looking for, and then based on that, you go ahead and decide to purchase that particular winter jacket. Now, some people only prefer to have a jacket that just fits them right till the waist, so that's another choice. Again, lots of different choices that you have in making. So let's go and have a look at the winter jacket that I purchased about 1.5 years ago, and how has been my experience with that particular jacket. What are the features of that jacket? Now remember, you could look for similar features in other jackets as well. So the idea is to make sure you have a winter jacket that keeps you warm and safe in this really hazardous cold weather that we have in Canada. But once you have that winter jacket, trust me, you will find walking outside not too bad. So let's go and have a look at my winter jacket that I purchased, and let's see, you know, what are the different features that this jacket has. So there you go. That is the winter jacket that I own right now. And as you can see, it looks quite sturdy, quite robust. It looks pretty well equipped, doesn't it, to be able to handle any kind of cold weather conditions. And it really does. You know, this particular jacket can help you up to temperatures that fall till -20, -15, -20. So what that means is if the temperature is -15 to -20, you can still use this particular jacket for that weather. Now remember, when you're buying a jacket, do look at the temperatures, okay? Every jacket has a certain temperature level that it is well suited for. So for example, a -5, or I should say a 5 degree centigrade. So let's have a closer look at this particular jacket. And this is a very important part of the jacket, right? So this is, I should say, the top cover. Now over here, as you can see, this particular cover can be unzipped. There you go. So you can sort of unzip this cover and remove it as well if you just do not want to use the top side of it. Now, this is quite critical in this weather right here. As you can see, it's quite soft inside. And let me get to the material in a bit, but what I wanted to share with you was this sort of keeps you well protected against any type of weather conditions, especially when it gets really windy out here in Canada, in Ontario, and pretty much every other province. So this sort of keeps you, keeps your head covered, and it's very comfortable. It's very nice material, and it's quite, I should say it really does a good job protecting your head, so to speak. Another thing about this jacket is the material inside. So you need to remember one thing about jackets in Canada. They are made out, most of them are made out, not all, but a lot of the good quality jackets do have what we call down feather in them. And down feather is basically the feather that is used from goose or ducks. And it's typically a very good quality feather. And what it does, it keeps the heat inside. And it's very soft as well. So once you're wearing this jacket, it really keeps it's important to maintain the heat level. So this down feather jacket really does a good job of keeping the heat inside and keeping you warm and comfortable while you're working outside in minus 20-degree weather. So just remember to get a jacket with down feather. Okay, so let us try and wear this really cool jacket right now. It's always good to sort of see how it looks like once you're warm. And as you can see, I like mine that falls a little below the waist, so till this portion right here, because that's sort of, that's just my preference, but if people do have, jackets that it can just be till the waist as well, right, till right here. So there you go. And as I remember about that flap, I could just basically put that flap right here. I'm sure you can hear that Velcro flap right there. So there you go. I'm just ready to go. I don't even have to zip it. And that's my jacket right here. It just came off because it's a bit weak on the Velcro, but it's still pretty good. This is a quick solution, right? If you're just going outside quickly. But otherwise, you could just go ahead. And to be really safe, and this is what I do when it's minus 20-degree temperature, is I just zip it up right there. There you go. It fits nicely, right? Looks pretty good. My sleeves are protected, and looks pretty standard. Looks pretty good. And there you go. I can put this right here and cover myself. Now, I'm actually sweating right now, so I'm going to take it off because it's really hot with this jacket. I'm inside my apartment, as you can tell. So let me go ahead and take it off right now. But I hope you like this visual demonstration of this jacket and how good it looks like. And just so if everyone is curious where this jacket is from, it's from Eddie Bauer. Okay, but there's a lot of other vendors out there that you can get jackets from, and I'll tell you more about this in just a minute. Now, this is some other extra equipment that you need while you're preparing for the winter here in Canada. So as you can see, let's go through these items one by one. So if you notice here, you got some socks right here, okay? These are not your standard summer socks. If you can, well, it's hard to make out, but when you feel it, you'll sort of realize, and maybe I could do this. So it's a bit of a thicker material, so it's really good. And the thing is, these are they're moisture wicking, which means that moisture will not stick onto, or you will not have a lot of moisture on your feet while you're wearing these, especially while you're walking outside in wet snow weather. So make sure to get socks that are moisture wicking, that reduce the moisture on your feet, because that could also cause some other problems as well. Your feet can get cold as well. So make sure to do that. That's your socks right there. Now, the second thing right here is this head cover, and this is quite nice. If you don't have that, if you remember, I showed you a flap on the winter jacket, but if you don't have that flap, then you can just use a head cover right here to cover your ears and your head as well. And there we go. I should say socks are important, headgear is important, but nothing can get as crucial as your gloves in winter weather. Now, these gloves, as you can see, they're a bit, just got some material right here because I've been using them, but they're still pretty good inside. They sort of have this thing right here. So if you put your hand inside, it will protect the cold weather from getting inside. So just make sure to get good gloves like that. And these are waterproof gloves, which means you can wear. You can also wear them in slushy and wet conditions. And even my jacket, by the way, is waterproof. And that's something that I forgot to mention earlier on, is that make sure to get a jacket that's winterproof as well. Okay, so these are waterproof gloves right here, and they also have this interesting feature where if you use this particular thumb, it is mobile friendly, so you can use your mobile and you can twiddle on your mobile with these particular gloves. And then you have this sort of neck covering right here, which is called balaclava, and this is something that you wear on your neck to prevent the cold weather from getting inside to your neck. Now, no discussion of winter gear is complete without your winter boots right here. So these are some good winter boots, and as you can see, they have a good sole. As you could tell that I've been walking outside, right, in the snow. So these have some good soles out here. These are also waterproof, and that's another good thing about these shoes is that if it's cold out there, if it's wet, it doesn't affect the material of this shoe. So these, remember, they should be they should be quite they should have a good, I should say, elevation here. So there should be a good height to these shoes so that it protects you. It protects your not just your heel and your foot, but it also protects you to up to a certain level of your leg as well, right here, right? So you want to make sure that you're protected up to right there as well. So those are your shoes right there. Good shoes. And if you're going to the office, I usually have another pair of shoes, which I like to wear these when I'm going outside to work because they look a bit more formal. So you can always do that as well. You can have some casual shoes and you can have some formal shoes as well. I hope you found this video quite informative and educational and useful. And let me know in the comments what you think of the video. Was the visual walkthrough good enough? Was that, was that useful for you? And if it helps you out in preparing for the winter here in Canada, then I'll be more than happy. Let me know in the comments if you like the video and what are the things you would like to see in, in future videos, and I'll be happy to do that. As you know, covering a lot of different topics, and winter preparation in Canada is definitely a great topic that everyone needs to know when they are coming out, when they're coming to Canada, or when they're migrating out here, or when they're just venturing out to explore the trails and the nice beauty that Canada has to offer. So it's always good to prepare well when you're venturing out in the winter. So put your comments below. Let me know how the video went. And until next time, see you all later. Bye-bye.